What am I about to get myself into? Hey everybody, it's Sonic 2! Wait a minute. This doesn't look like what I'm familiar with. Ah, it's the auto demo! Yeah! When this game was coming out for the Game Gear, you ended up getting this as available, I guess at some showcases. If I remember correctly, this was shown at, December 5 of 1992? This version of Green Hills Zone is actually not in the final version of the game. I'm actually quite surprised. All of this stuff is what led us into the Sonic 2 8-bit that we see now. There is actually a hacked version of this out somewhere. It's on Retro. You can basically control Sonic in the Green Hills Zone prototype. I don't know if you can actually access any of the extra stuff like for Underground Zone or Sky High. But it's nice to know that this was found in 2015. This was why I held off working on the Sonic 2 Master System commentary for so long. Because of that particular portion of footage that I wanted to get a hold of. And bear in mind, I'm one of those people, like, back in 2005, 2006, I ended up getting, like, a whole bunch of, old Sega posters. And the prototype footage for Sonic the Hedgehog 2 8-bit was shown in that. It was the Game Gear version, obviously, but it was basically that. I'm surprised that they even kept the aesthetics for that version of Green Hills Zone is somewhere within the game's data for, like, cutscenes and whatnot. And even, like, you know, the opening to the levels, but, you know, it's nice to see that still present somehow in some way, shape, and form. But either way, let's get into this game. So this is the 4th title released in the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. And, unfortunately, you do not have a spin dash, so it is assumed that this is a prequel to Sonic the Hedgehog 2 16-bit. But, unfortunately, because this game came out before that, I can't really say for sure. But I'll assume that it's a prequel. Now, you might notice that there are some slight differences with, like, the ring counter and the lives counter, or the chances counter, as I say. And that is more or less because I'm actually using the 2011 version of a title that you might remember as Sonic the Hedgehog 2 Sweet Relief. This ROM hack makes the game ever more bearable. It bug fixes issues involving 1-ups. It gives you rings during Act 3, which, trust me, you want. Heck, even the original Sonic the Hedgehog, the October 25 of 1991 8-bit Sonic the Hedgehog did not have the luxury of giving you, it didn't give you the luxury of giving you rings during Act 3, so you kind of had to fare for yourself, or use save states if you had Mega Collection or Mega Collection Plus. Oh, sorry, Mega Collection Plus, my bad. Or, in the case of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 Master System, oh, sorry, Game Gear, if you had, what was it? Gems Collection. I actually had, you know, I got Gems Collection through means of a raffle, thanks to Maria Vugrin. I love you, Maria Vugrin, I miss you. You are debatably one of the best science teachers I had while in Boston. You are totally missed. And I ended up winning this kind of raffle, some kind of science raffle in her class, and I ended up getting, I guess, a $25 Amazon gift card. What I decided to do was I decided to get the GameCube version of Sonic Gems Collection, and that's how I got into this title. However, I would not play it until 2008 because I didn't have a GameCube until I think August 5 of 2008 or sometime around then. I still have the old receipt too. It's still in perfect condition. It was either in July or August of 2008, and it was definitely one of the earlier dates, between the 3rd and the 8th. By the way, this is how you could duck up the first boss ever so easily. Also, you might notice, for those of you that grew up with the Game Gear version by means of Gems Collection, or even Sonic Adventure DX, because DX apparently allowed you to play all the Game Gear games if you got at least 20 emblems, 20 for each title. I think that's correct. There is actually different music depending on which version of the game you're playing. If you're playing the Game Gear version, you're gonna get different music for the boss fights, and also if you get the good ending, or aka the Crystal Egg Zone ending, you're gonna end up getting a different track altogether. For the sake of this commentary, I'm not going to be showing off the Game Gear's music, but I will be showing off the Game Gear good ending music. I know that sounds redundant, I know I kind of shoved my foot up my anus there, but yeah, at least only because I'm going to be showing the ending credits twice. Once at the end of Gimmick Mountain, once at the end of Scrambled Egg Zone, and then again at the end of Crystal Egg Zone, to show off both endings. This makes this commentary as complete as I can possibly make it, without having it feel as odd as possible. Although, if I had to say, I'm surprised that they didn't have the Master System boss fight music be the fight music for Crystal Egg Zone Act 3, and then have the Game Gear music for the other 6 zones. That would have fared up far better. Now, for those of you that are unaware, so we have the Chaos Emeralds again, just like 8-bit Sonic the Hedgehog. However, there are no special stages. That's what Crystal Egg Zone is meant to replace those for. And also, by the way, you have to be very ducking precise if you want to get this particular emerald. This is the hardest emerald to get in the game. Yes, the second emerald in the game is the hardest one to do. You have to be very precise with the way that you time your right and left. And also, if you go too high up, you're going to lose your hang glider. So be very careful. I think I just got it. Yeah, just got it. If I were any lower, I would have missed that. That, again, this is why I believe that Sonic the Hedgehog 2 8-bit is one of the hardest games to have ever come out of Sega in the early 90s. Sega and Sonic Team really didn't want you to get this perfect ending easily. And that's kind of a shame. It's kind of a shame that that's the unfortunate reality, but it's not a bad thing if you know how to play this game right. Now, by the way, you might notice, like, in the title cards, like, you're going to be seeing Miles a good bit. Now, bear in mind, in the storyline, Miles gets captured. Oh, no, by the way, these penguin enemies, you're going to be seeing them again in Sonic Chaos, also known as Sonic and Tails. Just thought I'd point that out, just in case if anybody was curious. But yeah, apparently, this game was originally just supposed to be Sonic alone. But when they decided to add in Miles for Sonic the Hedgehog 2, apparently, like, if you take a look at the data, I guess there's, like, a whole bunch of unused sprites of Miles available. And it's kind of unfortunate that that kind of went unused. So it makes me wonder, if you were to beat this game back in 1992, if they were to complete it in the way they intended for it to be, would we have been able to play as Miles in New Game Plus? I mean, Doc, that'd have been awesome. That'd have been awesome. It probably would have been the first game that would have allowed Miles to fly, too. I mean, heck, he has to put those tails to work somehow. But of course, as you folks know, Miles would not get the ability to fly until 1993. Now, what's the company that made this? Aspect Company Limited? They've worked on a lot of good stuff over the years, and I'll be truthful, had they not worked on this, I do believe that, oh, excuse me, I got a whole bunch of air bubbles in my chest right now. I promise you I'm okay now. But yeah, I do believe that they are the reason why these games just feel ever so much better. Not just in the physics department, but in overall gameplay. Also, while it's on the mind, Aqua Lake Act 2, this zone, or at least this act, there's actually blue water in this level if you play the Game Gear version. Unfortunately, you don't have that luxury here because of the fact that, I guess this version of the game, just didn't have the graphical capabilities of doing so. That's why more people play the Game Gear version over the Master System version, but I wanted to show you where we grew up from. Plus, the Master System version is just easier to play. And it's also got more stuff. Oddly enough, there are a few items in this game, to my knowledge, that are not present in the Game Gear version. One is actually one that we're going to be coming up to soon. You're going to see that. Oh, but, wait a minute. These aesthetics look familiar. Were these used in Painto Edition 2? I could have sworn these were used in Painto Edition 2 for the Labyrinth remake. Oh, also, might as well point it out, yes, there are arrow monitors, so yes, those checkpoints are back. I think this is actually one of the last games where you're gonna see that, because I don't think Chaos had them. Oh, of course, the levels in Chaos you could beat in like 30 seconds, and I think Triple Trouble doesn't even have it at all. But yes! Speed Sneakers! Speed Sneakers are not in the Game Gear version, to my knowledge. In the Game Gear version, if you went and got that monitor, if my memory serves correctly, is, I think that it's a ring monitor. I think it's a super ring monitor. Also, free one-up. You can actually control where Sonic goes in that, by the way. You just have to mess around with the controller properly. It's not as bad as it looks. Now, I'll be truthful. You know, now Triple Trouble, I think, yeah, Triple Trouble brings this kind of bubble mechanic back. Why was this never in any of the regular Sonic games? Whether it be 16-bit, whether it be... Well, okay. Chaotix, I guess, is acceptable because there's no water levels. No, Marina Madness doesn't count. Marina Madness doesn't count. There's no water in it, except for the background. Seriously, why the heck didn't they implement water into that? By the way. Now, you also notice there that, you know, the water's just entirely gone when Sonic reaches the goal. Again, that's just due to graphical limitations of the original Master System. Had we been playing on the Game Gear, we would have had the extra amount of colors to be able to present extra detail and also show us where the water was going up and down. But also, now of course, because this is the only level where there is water, you might wonder, is Sonic able to drown? Yes, he is still able to drown. I'll be truthful though, in my over 8 years of playing this game, or almost 8 years of playing this game, I've never had Sonic drown in Aqua Lake. Never. Not even during my first year, when I was still getting used to levels. It was ridiculous. Now, you might also wonder, why the duck are we not actually fighting Robotnik? Yeah, now this is actually going to become a trend throughout the Game Gear throughout the 8-bit titles. Throughout the 8-bit titles, most of the time you're not actually fighting Dr. Robotnik. You're fighting super robots that he makes to challenge Sonic and Miles. Which I guess is kind of understandable, but this would also mean that that Robotnik would end up in as the final boss. Oh, by the way, Green Hills Zone. Yes, not to be confused with Green Hill Zone. Yeah, totally different level. Totally different level. Yeah, Green Hill aesthetics, Green Hill trees, crab meats. You got them lizards. I don't know if I saw a Buzz Bomber or not, but you get the point. It's Green Hill Zone. Oh, Duck! Even Motobugs are back. What the duck? Other things you might notice, too, is that this entire game's OST is supposed to be based on what would later come out from the Japanese version of Sonic CD. And you notice it with this, and you also notice it with Gimmick Mountain Zone, which is basically Sonic, which is basically Collision Chaos Zone. But... But yeah, going back to what I was saying about the bosses... These bosses, I don't even know their names. A lot of them, I don't know their names. I don't even know any of the boss names in Sonic 2. And what I at least appreciate is that this trend would be brought back for, Sonic Adventure 6, Vivid Sound Hybrid Colors. Because in that game, even though you're technically duking it out with Robotnik a good amount of the time, you're often dealing with robots that are not really Robotnik. And at the same time, in Adventure 7... No, Adventure 7 doesn't count. No. Sonic Generations of White Space Time doesn't count. But Adventure 8, Without Boundaries, also known as Lost World. You know, you're not actually dealing with Robotnik. You're dealing with the Evil Six, or whatever the duck they're called. I forget their names. I actually have still yet to fully play Adventure 8. I've only played it in segments. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to do that at some point. Well, of course, this is going to be a channel where a lot of Sonic commentaries are present. It makes sense. But yeah, I'm at least glad that the developers of Adventure 6 and Adventure 8, as well as Project Sonic 2017, will brought back the whole Robotnik is the final boss kind of thing. Because, of course, had we not had that, I do believe that it wouldn't have allowed for true diversity in our Sonic titles. But to be truthful, I kind of want to go back to a game where we have Robotnik always be the boss at the end, and that is why I appreciate. Thank you, Stealth, and thank you, Taxman, for working on Sonic the Hedgehog Mania. You know, you folks. I'm glad that your partnership with Sega and Sonic Team has definitely been paying off. Sonic the Hedgehog Mania is indeed something that I do expect for all of us to enjoy in the greatest ways probable. And I'll be truthful. That's going to be one of the first games that I get when I end up getting the PlayStation 4 in 2017. What will I be getting that with? Let's see. Whatever good NHL game is available on there. Let's see, Final Fantasy 15, Project Sonic 17, of course. Final Fantasy 7 Remake. Yeah, because I'm forcing Luna to record that. I'm forcing Luna to record the original 7 so I can do the remake. And a whole bunch of other things here and there in between. But we'll get to all of this when the time is proper. Either way, we're done with the first part of this commentary, and we're actually going to be getting to the final part in part 2. Yeah, this is a very quick game, so see you then. Oh, wait a minute, it's a part of a bulk set with a double feature of side pocket. Hit the next button.